Are we live? Live. Looks like we might be live. Looks like we're live. Mute that first before we hit play. And it looks like we are live. And we are live recording from Arlington, Vermont. This is Happy Valley Hobbies. I'm Mr. Katie, and these are hobbies that make me happy. And don't want that. But sort of the update on the lathe. I've gotten to the point where I finally did the break-in for it, which is basically you run it for 5 minutes with the last 2 minutes at full speed in each direction. And I also did it not only in each direction, but also the same thing with the different gear selections for the power feed. And I was surprising that the headstock, even though I had nothing on it, still got warm. So it might be, I don't know if it's out of alignment or whatever. It's been a while. I don't think I've ever ran a brand new lathe. So it's one of those things of usually the lathes I've had the opportunity to use have been always well used and all that. So they're usually very not stiff. This lathe, since it's brand new, is pretty much stiff at this point. So I guess I got to use it a lot to, let it wear in a little bit. That's what the hobby portion of with the lathe is. Then let's see, switch cameras back to this one. Right now, my landlord is in the process of selling the property. And earlier this week, we did have someone look through stuff, look through the different apartments and etc. And so I had to, prettying my apartment up is not a not quite a possibility, but had to move things to make it relatively presentable. So, and that included having to move my background screen and this particular camera up here and all that. So, in order to live stream, everything had to be sort of kind of moved back. So hopefully, I mean, it does look like it's a little bit higher, so you better see the layout that is still in pieces at this point. Eventually, I'll get it back together once I get basically get my pull rods for the switches in the other half. That's why the other half here. And when I get that all straightened out and etc., then I'll be doing the same thing to this layout, and we can go from there and have a operating layout for a while. All right, let's do that. Okay. But I have been working well, combination of off screen and on different live streams with small little dioramas. and thinking of actually starting to maybe add possibly grass. Let's see if I got. I made the wrong assumption that I had ballots within arm's reach. I do not have ballots within. I don't even know where the ballast is at this point. But oh well. Definitely not prepared today. Stuff because I was doing most of the stuff that I thought I needed to do ahead of time. So this is not looking as great as I would like. So I guess I'll be adding rocks to this also. Make it more like a babbling stream instead of a rock base. So adding rocks here. A lot of the inspiration of having rocks in the center is where I live, where there's a lot of streams that have a lot of rocks on them. The yeah, boy, can I talk to them. A lot of the streams and brooks are not deep. You see a lot of the rocks in everything. This section. So yeah, I guess right now is we're sort of I guess a seller's market at this point when it comes to properties. So my landlord's taking advantage of it. Not sure how I feel about it. It's one of those things of things can be better, things can be worse. Don't know. My one next door neighbor apparently was able to. Oh, hello there, Braille artist. Thank you for coming in. I guess he met the possible future new landlords. Actually had a conversation with him. My one next door neighbor is very secluded. I'm not sure what the actual term is, but doesn't really talk to people. It's very I want to say almost like Phineas Fogg. Very okay. This is what he does at this particular time and does this. I do not know what he does for a living, but I think he was. I believe he was working from home before working from home was a thing. I want to say I almost got too much on things once I start to rocks on that will turn around and take stuff. Go not go away, but give the appropriate Probably a smart thing to do would be to separate all the smooth rocks from the not so smooth rocks. And just use the smooth rocks in the riverbed. And oh, hello there, Wigwagon Plumber. Thank you for coming on in. I think I wound up starting a little earlier than usual. It just happened to be on the computer when the alarm said, "Hey, you need to get ready for the live stream." So I did. So here I am. And once I started at grass onto these dioramas and all that, pretty much almost ready to actually install the bridges and trestle. Yeah, I've noticed I was on Steve Charler's uh, stream earlier. I sent a message and it said error. I get that every now and then. I'm not quite sure what the error is, what causes the error. Yeah, error. The, the gravel I'm using is gravel that you would from that you would normally use on an aquarium. And the reason why I picked this color is that because this color is very similar to the color of the rocks around here. One of the interesting things is that there is in Manchester there was well, actually, correction, Dorset. Dorset actually had a lot of marble quarries, so there is a lot of marble in the area, and so that means a lot of the stones that are sort of like around are very light colored. I might actually have. But yeah, this is what the most of the rocks around here look like. You got like a brown sand, that's why it's a brownish color and all that. But the rocks themselves are pretty white because of the marble around the area. That's why. And the thing is that when you buy the gravel, when you buy the aquarium gravel, it comes in a big 5-pound bag. So I got enough to last a while. But last night I was on Go Beer or Go Home. He opened up his live stream for people. I got on and did a lot more with what I had here. and actually wound up talking with can't think of him right now. Uh, After the show, guess they're having they are planning to have another get together at the YouTube meet and greet like they did a couple months ago. You'd say that on the wrong side of the border, because it might be there's no straight route to get there, unfortunately, and that's because well, Lake Ontario's in the way. But also, I'm not really in a. I don't feel like I'm in a good position to be crossing the border or going long distances at this point. Car that I have, eh, I don't think I would trust it on a long distance, that long of a distance. I think I might be able to do maybe 2 hours or something like that. I don't think I would trust it to go any further distance that. And the reason why I take that, oh, okay. All right. I won't say a single thing, Dan. This is says I don't know who your boss is. Ooh. Was there anything? Was there a derailment, or was it just the train just broken too? I mean, if it just broken too, I mean that's a more of annoyance than anything and all that. But if it did more than just broke apart, that's a lot of extra drama. My older phone that is not connected to anything decided to make some noise. All right. It's like it's time to actually add stuff that's sort of normal, I guess. Yeah, I wound up buying Woodland Scenics. I think it's a fountain kit or something. I wanted to get one that actually had water feature, but the place I bought the stuff at have that. So virtual rail fan. And it's one of those things of I actually have three monitors and all that. So technically I could watch virtual rail fan at the same time doing the live stream, but that's a little say that's a little on the distracted side. I should PDA for the face. So you can go Mosh Mosh since it's already on the brush. And I have three screens, but since I stopped helping out with new tracks modeling, I used the third monitor as much. It's like it's on, but not actually watching it. Okay. I'm putting this in. It's like, wait a minute. Sometimes there's not as much vegetation underneath. Usually directly underneath a bridge. It's not as much vegetation. Oh, hello there, Curly. Or as you have in your brackets, Dwight. Thank you for coming in. Some more grass. going to be challenged instead. He has yeah, I think they were there was this. Yeah, which one? There was a stream recently. They were talking about a broken coupler. Then the one, yeah, I think actually it might have been the one I was on last night. Go big, go home. Where yeah, they were talking about of course the couple of broke, of course, right after that the airline caused everything to go into emergency and all sorts of pain. I would say that's what it happens in real life. So it's amazing how when sometimes when they're talking about model trains and all that, it's like, oh my God, this happened, this happened, this happened. It's like it's prototypical. Hmm. Spray some water on this. I said, sure, sort of clumps up. So grass is not perfect. Ew. Well, the thing is, Katie couplers, they do break. Of course, they take a lot more. Uh, they take a lot more abuse than like Henry's or insert plastic couplers. So, I might have to look at that later, wigwag. Usually don't have something running in the background when I'm doing stuff. I sort of like the silence as most of your concentration is what you're doing. To me, I find sometimes music or something in the background sort of distracting. That's just me. Gotta remember, I don't really need to go up here because Bounce is gonna cover that up. The same trusting at a bear. Well, and those are part of life, much a lot of places don't like wildlife. They are there. The things I'm using this grass is to sort of hide seam. Or maybe should have went with the darker green for the grass, but for the green undercoat. I'm doing these dioramas, to sort of get practice on things before onto the main layout. Wow, new couple are on site already. That's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that they usually have spare parts on trains. On the 18th in the 18th century, they had a lot more spare parts on it, and that's why you look at old, uh, early early cars, automobiles. They usually had two spare tires on it because well, there was a good chance that you need to use both spare tires. The tire technology wasn't there yet. It is now. Early on, it wasn't. Interestingly, the this is just plain water. So I realized that I didn't since I don't have any quote unquote wet water, everything's bubbling up and sort of bubbling up, which actually is a nice setup. It's not as uniform. It's definitely more random. So that was this side. Now, when you say your first operation session, is this on somebody else's layout or on your layout? Bummer. Yeah, if he's near a yard, it's going to be easy because you're going to have spare parts like right there. I'm thinking I need another second spray bottle. Wet, wet water and the dry water. That's what we call it. No detergent in it. I think modern day equipment is sort of the same way, where they just yeah, I think most of the newer equipment that's KD coupler compatible, I think it's sort of the same thing. I got this way. So there was one interesting thing that they were uh, Adam's tested channel actually had it where they're doing flocking and stuff like that. I was surprised to find out that uh, surprise. It's one of those things, surprised but not surprised that Adam has done. It sounds like he has his own model railroad, so which I'm not surprised because well, he was a, he was a professional modeler, and there is a professional model association, which actually started out, I think, in the It's either the late 80s, early 90s. That's when a lot of things that were computer generated, and computer graphics became a thing, and there were a lot of people in the model making industry were sort of worried that their jobs were on the line, so they would do things to sort of get everyone together to sort of either embrace or keep keep the older practices going. They seem to be a nice group to work with or hang out with, I should say. But I get the impression they're not really, we're modelers. We're doing this more as a hobby. We're doing it more as a business. So it definitely has a different. The different groups are. Am I trying to get my hobby certificate? Are you talking about the NMRA? Oh, the NMR. That's the model railroader. That I've been sort of contemplating, but I haven't really gone too crazy about it. Mainly because I'm not really into the competitions. Oh, the Golden Spike. I don't think my layout is large enough to be able to do that. I think it misses some qualifications at this point in time. It's only it's 8 foot long, a foot and a half wide, and think uh, I think it requires a little bit more size. I think scenery wise. Uh, so it's some more. Yes. But I am thinking about doing the rest of it just to increase my skill level, not necessarily get awards. If I get an award, yay. If I don't, oh well. I mean, some I know some awards I can do which are really easy. Track work. Uh, I went to college for electronics, so any of that stuff would be really easy for me. Uh, but things like scenery is something that I've never really done before, so that would be a challenge. I would probably aim for certificates that would challenge me, but uh, from my understanding, I was actually surprised to find out. Apparently, uh, one that might be easy for me, which I didn't realize, would be author. Because my English was never my best, with spelling and stuff like that. It's one of those things of a horrible speller, so it's one of those things of thank God for spell check. But uh, I think my style wasn't for the spelling, since I hang out with my sister and her friends, and they speak proper English. Uh, I think my skill level on that's a lot better. Uh, But and apparently I'm very good at making. There's one job that they said, here, make a owner's manual on how to do XYZ, and apparently my English is good enough to do procedural manuals. So anything that has a lot of structure to it, I'm fairly good at. It's things that are organic, like scenery, I am not. But also, apparently, under author, uh, they do include video. Yeah, thanks. Thank you for the spiel, cheeker. Uh, I got one that of course, the thing is, autocorrect doesn't really help at times. It sort of like overcorrects, and it's like, no, that's not what I meant. And I had a friend. Uh, I came up with a tagline sometimes when spell checker would do its incorrect thing and be uh, duck you as in EWE, not which means female lamb. So it's like duck you auto as in capital, the proper name auto, OTTO, and cow wreck. Sort of the Hells Angels just pulled up to the gate. Huh. Now, are you sure it's the Hells Angels? And what gate are they putting up to? Because a lot of motorcycle gangs are not Hells Angels. Yeah, author, volunteer, official. Uh, yeah, yeah. I think let's see, volunteer, official. I think volunteer and official might be the same. Author. Then there's track, locomotive, rolling stock, scenery. I believe there's a total of 11, but I think, I want to say 7. It's been a while since I've looked at the AP awards. Um, as I said, it's one of those things of I wouldn't be getting them to get the awards. It'd be more of uh, well, all right. Well, thank you for coming in, Plumber. Uh, Theoretically, hopefully there's not as much drama on SpaceX. Yeah, 7. All right. Well, the interesting thing is that growing up in upstate New York, uh, it's one of those things of I guess we're close enough to. I actually haven't really used text, speech to text that much. A lot of times, I mean, at work, there's times that we have to make a schedule with FedEx and all that, and that usually uses a uh, voice to data setup. But I would have to say the other direction where it's going from uh, text to speech, that's getting to the point where it's getting hard to distinguish what's an actual person and what's a program. Uh, but there's still just enough of the cadence is not quite right where you can actually tell that it's done that direction. So got that. Now I have this. I put this on after this completely dries, so that might be done by next live stream. I did have some dollar store stuff, but I don't know where to get that stuff. Yeah, Dollar Tree actually has a small section of floral stuff that can be used as a stand-in. I have about a couple of months ago. I tried my skill at doing a jute tree. So this is done with jute, and I think this is Mod Podge. This feels too floppy for PVA glue. PVA glue would be a lot stiffer. So next time I try this, I might white glue instead of Mod Podge. The way I look at it is, I think the most expensive thing is Biffy time. I've heard of Jiffy time, but not of Biffy time. But yeah, I might do that next, or possibly even wood food as well. I want trees to be relatively stiff. This is stiff, but you start putting stuff down. This is all right. I put that roll. Jute, the tree right now. If I can find, put the jute. I guess figure out that silliness later. It's probably directly under something that I didn't realize. I have been looking at some other channels on, sort of like their channel analytics. I do have TubeBuddy and vidIQ, and I actually just recently saw a YouTube channel that was started 4 months ago, and they already have 1,000 subscribers, and it's more of a I actually don't have that many videos either, but looks like a channel that someone just goes around Vermont and says, hey, there's this, there's that, etc. So it's more of a travel channel. So I'm not sure if I have an idea on doing something, but the thing is I don't know how I would actually do it. I would actually need my sister's help, because it it'd be half her territory that she's good at and half of the territory that I'm good at. But it's one of those things I'm not quite sure exactly how that works. She did have her own YouTube channel. Mildred's making something. And she was doing that for a while, and then she did something silly and got married, and hasn't really put up anything else since. So it's one of those things that would be an interesting collaboration, but I'm not sure how well it would work or how it would, might be a thing. Might be a thing to sort of kind of ask him, etc. But a lot of things is that it it would also require me to sort of check out railroads that I don't really have uh, interest in. This would be more of a this concept would be more of a uh, sort of a concept that would be include a lot of different railroads, even internationally, not just the railroads up north, but possibly also in Europe. Not quite. I would assume also Asian and India also, but I'm not sure. But something I would have to look into. But, all right, that looks like this is sort of in a drying phase. Trying to figure out which one to do next. Situate this one. This one needs more rocks. Right here. And add more rocks. And this one I'm still adding more rocks to the side. More to the upper side. Making sure I don't go overboard with the rocks. And also got to figure out a way to rocks underneath here. Theoretically, they would be supporting stuff. Still getting close to being rock-wise. Yeah, this this is getting so close. I'm actually sort of, instead of just pouring the rocks over a lot of stuff, that's what I'm actually or tweezes it. See what it's like. I probably should be grabbing more jagged rocks. But I don't know, some people been able to crack the YouTube algorithm, and then other ones like me have. But I I am going at it as what I'm doing is just sharing hobbies that I like. There's originally when I started, I was thinking of having this as a business because I was unemployed at the time, like a possible source of income. But then I wound up Starlink launched via SpaceX. These are used for global internet. That should be interesting. Every technology has its advantages and disadvantages. One thing with satellite internet is that, well, weather can be an issue. I mean, weather can be an issue with the landlines also, but not as much. Just moving to Vermont and getting internet, but it's say there's only a couple of times that I realized or that I noticed that there was something. Since I've been at my workplace, I haven't seen any internet interruptions. Which is probably a good thing because even the phones hook up to the internet. So especially since we're in a building where it's a metal building built, I think, 70s. So the cell phone reception, a little bit of a challenge. This side, looks like it's a lot more, a lot more rock right here. Well, I've noticed that Anthony Dodge has not shown up. No, him and his family has been having some sad news. So might be the reason why he's not here today. It's one of those things of I like hearing things straight from the source and all that. So we're interested to know what sad news I'm referring to. Let's say go chat. He does explain it very explicitly. So I want to play the game of telephone. I have a feeling I wound up losing a lot of my viewers when I moved to this particular spot, and it's one of those things. If I want to be able to, when I got employed, workplace actually, it's the first, well, actually the second place I've worked that had a 10-hour, 4-day work week. So going from doing pretty much nothing to a 10-hour day is jarring. think I think my body is sort of adjusted to everything. There's times that I'm still pretty exhausted by the end of the day. So I'm glad that I wound up moving to Friday. So I'm not quite sure about moving to this particular. Well, originally I was at three, 3 to 4, but that's when I found out that Anthony Dodge does 3:30 to 4:30. So that's why I moved up a half an hour, so I wouldn't be cross crossing the live streams. And plus, I also like watching Anthony Dodge. It's like there's something about. Yeah, I think when the first time I saw him, I wasn't too impressed, but it sort of grew on me. Not sure why. And I think one of the things I like about Anthony Dodge is that uh, I always want to say is what you see is what you get. Seems to be a very his wife Joyce seemed to be a very honest couple. I know some people that fit the same mold of okay, they're so odd that they fit. They're so odd that they fit each other. That's why I think I wind up liking Anthony's channels because it's a couple that that fit together. It's and I think that's why I like. So I like how they fit together. Don't, I want to say I don't quite fully agree with everything, but they also it's a very I can appreciate how they fit very well together. Looks like Anthony be getting on soon. Might not be. I may or may not be on there because a friend of mine uh, will be seeing tonight. Just lost their father. So see about seeing her or she winds up in Indiana. See where the uh well, I was gonna say funeral. The thing is that uh found out through her. She was surprised to find out that you can't have a funeral without a body, and is donating his body to science. So it, there can't be a funeral, but they can have what's called a remembrance, which makes sense. So doing things like donating your body to science. So it's a good thing, and it trains the next generation. And I put the wax paper on here because I'm not planning on permanently fixing the trestle on. It'll be basically held down by gravity and by the rails. Question is real artist back from his Bippy time? See, one thing of like dropping props. Besides that, I want to say that a lot of channels that sort of figured out how to do YouTube seems to be very people who have worked in sort of the media industry beforehand, or something similar to it. Like Heath from Humanity Junction. I guess he used to be a working on live sets and doing project management that way. I'm trying to think of her name. Mojave Desert. She, I think, was doing things like websites and stuff like that beforehand. So she knew how to yes get an audience attention. It seemed to be the fastest growing channels. Somebody that was their job, so you just transferred it into their YouTube channel. I mean, you ever saw the behind the scenes of Beast channel. I mean, he's got, if I remember correctly, I think about seven monitors plus a teleprompter. So he's used to having equipment like that. There was one time I helped out with a small cable access show. Of course, then I wound up having to have a job where I could work that in. It was sort of interesting. They actually, it was a recorded show, but uh, they started out live, and what they wound up doing was that when they wound up changing to recording, they just decided, well, we'll just keep the live format, keep going that way. And doing stuff live, it actually makes like editing easier because there is no editing. It's like whatever's there is there. And I think that's why I wound up right now following that format. Maybe once I get skilled at, well, let's say skilled at editing, actually have to practice editing first. And then going from there. Right now, I do everything live because it's pretty much easier. It's like one of those things of getting, once you get over the fear of, oh my God, people are watching, and you can turn around and make, it's just a lot easier. Of course, another thing is that I probably should be doing is maybe having more unified rocks. All these different size pebbles seem to look right. All right. Well, thank you for coming, Wigwag. Yeah, it's starting to be that time for me to wander up also, adding some more rocks, and then I'll see if Anthony Dodds, the train outsider, is online or not. Might not be. I know he hasn't really missed a live stream, but circumstances might change that today. So switch cameras. Everything bounces around. Change. All right. So it looks like my clock that I've been using keeping track of time, that you can't see the hands because it's too bright, is currently not on the correct time. So I actually have gone over. All right. Of course, it also doesn't have 47. All right. I see. I never changed this for or did I? That's no, I did not. It's an hour off. All right. There we go. Now it has the right time, which unfortunately because of all the brightness and all that, you can't tell. All right, so I guess this ends this particular long live stream. I've been going for an hour and a half, which was not the original intention. But I guess I'll be done for today. And so I think the world needs more love. So find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread it around.